Hey, good morning, everybody. Look, I'm so happy to be this Monday morning, bright and early. It's going to be a nice, balmy 94 today here in North Carolina. I hope that it is warm where you are. I hope that you have some water and you're staying as cool as you can be at this time. But I wanted to come and do our morning motivation. I missed last week, but my daughter graduated, guys. So I had good reason to miss. She graduated last Sunday. I now have a high school graduate in my house, and I'm super happy about it. I wanted to come on this morning and do a quick motivation about seeking peace. Sometimes in our journey, especially while we're going for making sure that we are obtaining and keeping our power, we forget about the importance of peace. And so, say, Lydia, what do you mean? What I mean is when we are feeling powerful, when things are starting to go the way we want them or not, uh, the power within our tongue is still real. The power within our tongue is still can be sharp. The power within our tongue can cut somebody and we're not trying to. And what happens when you cut somebody? What happens when you say something out of turn? What happens is you begin to affect your peace and their peace. Because if you're like me, you realize maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have held that. Maybe I should have turned that over. Um, maybe I should have done something different. But in the quest and journey to obtain power, we have to remember to make sure that we are keeping the peace. And our tongue is so powerful that it can really, really slash peace on all fronts. If we even look at the current situation of our government right now, the current situation of our world, a lot of what wars that are being dealt with because of the tongue. What's coming saying. And then you gotta back it up actions because a lot of times what happens is we say these things and we don't back it up. We have to back it up because I can't say it and not back it up. I can't say it and not do something about it. I can't say it and not follow through. But sometimes you have to, if I said it, you got to go back and apologize. I have to go back and apologize. Hey, I probably shouldn't have said that. Hey, that's not exactly how I meant it. Hey, let me explain. Why? Because the tongue will cut everything up. The tongue will slash stuff. And the power that's within the tongue will cause a good situation to turn into a bad situation in seconds. And so while we're obtaining this power, while we're learning to get our voice back, while we're learning to move forward and do those things, we have to remember to seek peace. Gotta seek peace because if the tongue speaks too quickly, then peace is already averted. There is no peace. But we must remember that as we're getting the powerful tongue, we gotta make sure that we wrangle that thing in because the same way that what I think determines what I say, manifests with what I have. The same thing happens with I got a negative thought. I just said something off the cuff. Now I say that off the cuff, and what manifests before me is no peace. What manifests before me is an argument. What may manifest before me is a fight. And so we have to remember that as we are moving forward with this power of the tongue, with this power, what we say, we got to make sure that we are seeking peace. A friend of mine said to me a couple of weeks ago, she said, Lydia, what I do is, she said, because you know I can say it. I said, I know I can too. She said, I write it down in my journal. She said, sometimes I type out the text message to the person that upset me. She said, then I read it and then I delete it. Why are we doing this? Because part of that power is understanding how to maintain and control our own tempers, to maintain and control our tongues, to maintain and control our relationships, to maintain and control our peace. And the things that I do have power to control, I will. We talk about the serenity prayer so much. God grant me the wisdom to know the things I can change, to know the things I can't change, and the Grant me the serenity. But the thing is, enter in the power to know the difference. Because a lot of times, the things that we think we have control over, we don't. But the one thing that we do have control over is our mouth, what we say. And we don't want that. We don't want what we say to disrupt the peace that we want to live in. So today's Monday motivation, as we bring this to a close, is seek peace and pursue it. Above all else, seek peace and pursue it. We don't have to say it. Our tongue doesn't have to wreck our peace. Our tongue doesn't have to wreck our relationships. Our tongue doesn't have to wreck our lives because we have the power to control what we say. Okay? And that is our Monday motivation. As usual, I'll never come on without inviting you to join me this October the 24th, in the city of Baltimore for our 2026 Life Happens Conference, where we'll be talking about power. What you think depends on what you say, or what you think uh, frames what you say and manifests in what you have. And so, for that reason, I invite you to join us as we talk about this power, the power that we have within, the power that's in our tongue, the power that's in our actions, the power in what we do, and how we begin to understand that we do have power. Guys, I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing day. And if you don't remember anything else, remember this: seek peace, pursue it. See you next week.